So your worms aren't eating all your food, or they're very, very slow. A few solutions for you. To help your worms process the food, it's good to chop it up smaller. You can even pop it all in a blender and buzz it up. Just remember, this is going to make it quite moist, so you'll need to add something that'll take up some of that moisture. Perfect solution is shredded paper. Whack a bit of that in there, make a nice little mix. Beautiful. That'll help make it so it doesn't go compacted on you. You need that extra fibre in there. Now remember also, only feed your worm farm a little bit at a time. Divide your worm farm up in your mind into quarters, and each time you feed your worm farm, put a little bit in the new quarter. So for example, we've got this one at the back here. The food is almost gone at the back, ready to feed. I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of this food in to start off with. Make sure you spread it out, more surface area, more for them to eat. Faster they'll eat it. Cover that up, and then the next time when you come back, that'll almost be gone, and you'll be ready for your next quadrant. So your worms aren't behaving themselves, they're not moving up from this tray into the second one. There's an easy solution. There's still food down in here, that's why they're staying there. You need to take this off. Stop feeding them for a week. They need to use up all this food source before they're going to leave. Once it's all used up, next working tray back on, put their favourite food in there so that they will move up because they're nice and hungry after that week, and they'll behave themselves quite well for you. If mice and cockroaches have moved into your worm farm, it's because you've invited them in with the wrong foods in here. You need to make sure there's no meat and no dairy products in here. If there are, get them out. Remove those foods and you'll get rid of those mice and the cockroaches. If your worm farm's smelly, it could be that you've been feeding it too much and it's gone acidic on you. If it's gone acidic, it's going to have a really bad smell about it. But don't worry, you can fix it really easily. One, stop feeding it so much. Stop feeding for a while, they'll eat up all that excess food, and just add a little bit at a time. Be careful what you put into a worm farm. Everything that was once alive and is now dead, they'll eat it, but don't put any citrus in there. Anything like oranges, even onions and chilies, anything like that can change your pH quite quickly. You'll need to add something to get that pH to level back out again. You can add common garden lime, just a light sprinkle. Remember, you want to change things gradually. You can also add some nice coarse material and some carbon material like your shredded paper, and that'll help balance your pH back out again. Also, use your soil pH test kit. It'll tell you what's going on in there. All those smells and extra critters, nature's trying to tell you that something's wrong. This will guide you on how to fix it. If ants have moved into your worm farm, they're a really good indicator that it's way too dry. So you need to add moisture. Just a light spray to start with, allow it to seep down into your worm farm and bring that moisture back up again. But you've probably got a massive population of ants in here, so you need to get them out. Solution, take this tray, toss it out into your spare working tray. Completely upturn it, disturb those ants, and they will move out of your worm farm. Then you can take this, put it back onto your worm farm, and it's ready to keep working for you. But you can take a few measures to prevent the ants from moving in the first place. That moisture level is very important, but also add a few extras. You can get a big jar of Vaseline and do a nice ring around the bottom of your worm farm. The ants won't be able to pass over that, and it'll stop them from moving in. Another great trick my grandma taught me was put your worm farm legs in little bowls of water. The ants can't get across the water and back into your worm farm. Just be careful though, because those little bowls of water can breed mosquitoes. So make sure that you tip them out regularly. But the Vaseline's brilliant. Keep that moisture level up and you won't have ants moving into your worm farm. If there's one particular critter that's overrunning your worm farm, then that's nature trying to tell you that something's out of balance. So it's time to go back and check all your vitals. You've got your moisture level, your pH level, and also the food that you've put in there. If any of these are off, then that's what's making those critters dominate over everything else. So once you've balanced all those back out, it might still be an issue having too many of the critters in there. Easy way to get rid of them: get yourself a piece of bread, soak it in some milk, and place that in the midst of all your extra critters. They'll get attracted to that bread. Leave it for 2 to 3 days just to be sure. Then you might want to get yourself a shovel, scrape off that piece of bread with all the extra critters on it, and get it out of your worm farm. So once everything is balanced back out again, you've got the excess critters, problem solved. So if you've made a few mistakes along the way, welcome to the club. The big thing to remember is take small corrective actions. Nature doesn't want big drastic changes. You've got to take it easy. You might make a small change, wait for a few days to see the reaction. You really need to be patient with these little fellows when you're making those changes.
Remember to keep it simple. Worms have survived for millions of years without our intervention or gadgets. They're one of nature's most perfect inventions, eating our waste and turning it into the perfect resource.